If Trump loses the 14th Amendment case in Colorado, what will be the result? Expert testifies in the CO case that presidents are included in this clause. Despite Trump's best efforts, this case is moving forward. If he loses this case, let's assume he loses all appeals quickly as well. What happens next? Does this set a precedent for other states, New Hampshire, Florida, etc., to decide against him? Do we see a domino effect of multiple states keeping him off the ballot, or just Colorado? If there is only one or a couple states that refuse him on the ballot, would he continue to run and hope he can get to 270 anyway? Or would being knocked off one finish him for all? Just one state, not much. But if one state goes, it is going to be the first domino. I heard an editor from Lawfare say that this case, and the one in Minnesota, are important predominantly because they will force the Supreme Court to address this issue. Not being a lawyer myself, I don't know why, but he was confident in his assessment. If this happens and he's convicted for January 6th, I can see it spreading to more states. The impact will be twofold. First, his popular vote totals would crash. Even if he pulled enough electoral votes, he would come in with the lowest winning popular vote ever. Second, if any of the states that bar him are swing states, he has no path to 270 electoral votes. Losing California isn't a big issue for him on Electoral College because he wasn't going to win there anyways. But Colorado, Minnesota, Nevada, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are. It'll open the door to a lot of other states to do the same. Colorado itself isn't a very big deal cause he had a very low chance of winning that state. But of a state like Michigan that went hard blue in the last election in terms of state legislator and governor and attorney general, something like this, it could be devastating for Trump because he might be able to win Michigan and he needs Michigan. The ruling gets appealed to the Colorado Supreme Court and then again to SCOTUS. Am I the only one who thinks that if another Republican other than Trump gets the nomination, they win the presidency? Places like Florida have extremely conservative state Supreme Courts. I cannot imagine this spreading to those ruby red states. And he literally appointed 30 of the federal Supreme Court. They're not turning on him now. After January 6th, I'm afraid of what happens if he loses these cases and they keep him off the ballot, tbh. It's a mistake to remove him. Just horrible optics. He certainly should be removed. But he also shouldn't even be a viable consideration for voters. If it winds up just being a few states that remove him, there will be some very interesting down ballot implications if Trump voters stay home. Thinking specifically about Bobo's 2024 re-election campaign. That would be a lot of straight ticket voters sitting out and sway quite a few elections. Obviously, if more states or the whole nation keep him off the ballot, that will make that impact much more widespread. Imagine a scenario where a state like California removes Trump from the ballot but he wins the Electoral College. The popular vote would be so extremely unbalanced that Democrats, the media, and the misinformed masses would be screaming bloody murder. It's a very bad precedent for any state to remove the nominee from one of the two major parties. Once a precedent has been set, it will make it much easier for other states to follow suit. But that doesn't necessarily mean they will. That being said, you only need a few key states to make winning impossible for him. In addition, with that precedent set, it would make it much easier to challenge his legitimacy if he does win. If Trump is found guilty, what's to prevent disqualification being brought to court in red states? What standing is recognized? I'd say be careful what you wish for. This could end up being the first three-horse race since '92. If you take Trump off the ballot in some of those states, RFK could potentially win them. The swingier the state, the greater his chances to win. If this happens, you could have a scenario where Trump gets all the deep red states, Biden gets all the deep blue states, and the swing states are split among the three of them. RFK would only need to win a few states to send the election to the House. Democrats fell short of the required votes at Trump's impeachment trial and he was acquitted of inciting insurrection. Trump is not going to lose this case. If Colorado keeps him off the ballot, which he wasn't going to win anyways, it will cause a massive issue. Biden and other Democrats will be left off the ballots in red states in retribution. The domino effect you're seeing is the collective stupidity spreading throughout society. No better way to tell Trump's 70 million supporters that the election isn't rigged by removing him from the ballot. That'll go over well. An appeal. Because much like the other cases against Trump, it's unconstitutional. What so many of you fail to realize is that just because you call somebody a name doesn't make it real. Saying that he did something with an insurrection and all the other crap doesn't make it real. In order to use the 14th Amendment, you have to be convicted of insurrection. Not have the media say you did it. Having your political enemies call you names does not circumvent legalities, how the law works and is applied, and the damn Constitution. Related question clarification: these are people suing to keep him off, right? Not an act of the governor legislature? And if so, what would keep people from suing in states like Florida or Texas? Multiple states will, but it'll be interesting to see the method in which lawsuits are started to keep him off the ballot. And I also don't expect every state that attempts to be successful, given that it's up to the state courts to rule if there was an insurrection. I imagine it would have to come from the AG's office, which likely rules out red states as doing so, but it depends on the rest of their statutes. Blue states likely won't have much of an impact outside of Michigan or Arizona, who are more or less swing states. Maine, maybe. 2. Minimal practical impact on the election most likely. It depends on the state's EMO. If CA, CO, High, MA, and NY took him off the ballot, it wouldn't really change much. He isn't going to get those EVs anyway. If a red or swing state does it, particularly if multiple do, it will likely impact the election. Though I think if able, Trump will run regardless and use it as a way to claim another stolen election. This has to go to the U.S. Supreme Court, right? It's a constitutional case. And despite the 6-3 Republican majority, I'm not 100% sure they'll conclusively rule in his favor. There's just too much precedent. I'm in Colorado. Desperate to know too, but the fear is that the red states could do this too to Joe Biden. Therefore it could be an election where only Biden is on the ticket in blue states and only Trump is on the ticket in red states. We'll see. If Washington, Oregon, and Idaho disqualified him from the ballot, I could see the state of Lincoln wackadoos getting a lot of traction in their effort to break off parts of these states to form Lincoln. I really hope not, because I live in an area that would be part of it.